Hey everybody, Shane here with Daily Astrocat.com, and this is our shocking astrological trends for this week, July 19th through the 25th. Stick with me because I know you're going to love it. If you love astrology, this is how I might take on the entire week, right? So let's go. Let's talk about this because our moon phase for the week, the moon's going to be waning in towards the fourth quarter on Tuesday, 1/21. This is where we begin to rest and collect our strength. The second half tribe, that's you guys out there that were born during the second half, right? You're going to be best to wait until Thursday, just like everybody else. There's no additional benefit to you to being on this because wait till you see the dailies for this. This is not a good thing. This week sees the sun enter Aquarius. That's going to happen on the 21st as well. There will be almost an immediate immediate conjunction with Pluto, and this begins a chain reaction of changes, some now and some in the future. It's the beginning of the new age, is it? Is it the beginning of the new age in Aquarius? There's been signs of this since the great conjunction of 2021, right? Mars is also prominent this week. When Mars and Pluto are prominent, you know things are definitely afoot. So we're going to start off with Mercury sextile Saturn. This occurs, and the reason why I put this in there is because this is going to occur in rapid fire fashion. Because first it's going to be Mercury sextile Saturn, then it's going to be Mercury sextile Venus, and you'll be able to see how the movements of the planets are and how quickly they move throughout the zodiac, right? Across our sky. The sky bowl is basically what we're talking about. So on the 19th at 2:37 in the morning, we're going to find Mercury down here with Saturn. This is going to form a sextile pattern. That's this yellow line right here. As you can see, Mercury is at 16 degrees 6 minutes of Capricorn, and Saturn is at 16 degrees 6 minutes of Pisces. Now, that's when the sextile forms. It's just about perfect, right? Because it's both 6 minutes, 57 seconds. That is absolutely the perfection of that sextile. That is that exact moment when Mercury and Saturn are just like, boom, hey, what are we going to do? Now, what are sextiles? Sextiles are a useful energy that's a helping kind of energy. So if we have Mercury in logical, patient, disciplined Capricorn moving along, and Saturn is actually the ruler of Capricorn, so there's a little bit of some extra oomph there given to Saturn. Saturn's in Pisces, so Saturn is creative, dreamy, illusory. Do you think Saturn's going to be fooled by the illusions? No. Saturn's actually there to provide like a gateway between the above and below. That's a very interesting metaphor that I have for it because Saturn in Pisces is kind of constricting and restrictive, and it tends to make us go back to the conservative spiritual backgrounds that we may be from. We've been in this for about half a year now. Saturn has a 28-year cycle, so it moves through the signs very slowly. It just entered it last year. Now, what we're really seeing here, though, is we're seeing Mercury and Saturn being able to help each other with some of that communication skills, some of that logical skills, some of those thinking things that we need to be doing. So we get some clarity into where we're headed, what directions we're going in spiritually. We're going to need that later on in the week, okay? That is going to be really necessary. Now, let's talk about what else we got going on here, okay? Because now, once we get out of this, we're going to go back and we're going to see Mercury sextile Venus. Now, Mercury sextile Venus happens to happen. It occurs at 11:32. So, some 9 hours later, we're going to have this happening. Now, if you look in that amount of time, Mercury has traveled almost a full degree. Well, yeah, kind of like a full degree. More than half, okay? So it's 30, 35, 36, 37, something like that. I'm not going to do the math. Right around 35, okay? 35 degrees, 35 minutes in that degree. So by the end of the day, Mercury will have traveled a full minute. So it'll have gone just about a full degree. So 60 minutes in a degree, and those are seconds over there. So it's 16 degrees, 41 minutes, 7 seconds. You can see it here. Mercury is at 8 seconds. So this isn't quite exact. You'd have to shave a couple seconds off of it to have it be exact. But that is because Mercury and Saturn are for all practical purposes, they're conjunct right there, right? So now with them being conjunct, we can see that the rapid fire succession, 2:37 in the morning on the East Coast, we had sextile with Saturn. Rewind that 9 hours later, it's sextile with Venus. And this is going to be how we attract with our words, right? What we're doing. Remember, Venus in Pisces is exalted. Venus loves being in Pisces. Venus loves being in love, loves the dreamy world, loves that creative undercurrents that abound in the sign of Pisces, right? The art, the poetry, the music, the magic, everything that goes on there, the endings, that spiritual place of just where we're at, where we're resting, what we're doing. Now, how does it help it? Well, it helps communicate for artists. If we're trying to get a word out there, yes, it's going to help us do that. It's going to give us some practical guideposts that we can follow in order to be able to get our word out there and consolidate what it is that we're offering. Now, this happens on Sunday, right after that mystic triangle, that mystic rectangle that we had with the moon, right? Because that was a moon thing that was last week. Now, not very many people saw that, but we did end the week on Saturday with a little bit of a mystic rectangle with the moon. So there's some energy, and that energy is actually going into this video. You won't be able to tell because I don't know how mystical I am, but hopefully this is getting through to you and you love it and you're digging this information, right? So now we've got Mercury, Venus, and Saturn. So look, if we have any misgivings about the coming week, this is how we're going to have to deal with it. This is how we're going to have to deal with it. Some will turn to faith, and others are going to turn to creativity. So whether it's an actual church or a standard house of worship, or if you view the creative mind as a temple, this is your source of respite and comfort, and you will need it. Additionally, the sextile with Saturn is suggesting other energetic connections. That's right, above, below. We go beyond that, right? Into that from beyond the 3D, right? Beyond the 3D, that's what we like to say. Be listening and try not to give up hope. Fortify your personal spaces and consecrate your life. Okay, now we talk about living the lunar life. Look, living the lunar life this week, we're going to say little and watch the various proceedings. Some rocks are going to be turned over and truths are going to be revealed. When you turn those rocks over, bugs and worms and stuff like that, right? Pretty cool in some times. Other times, it can get pretty nasty. So sanctify your space and prepare yourself for your own journey, okay? Now, be so kind as to take the time to like this video and hit that subscribe button, okay? You're going to get more of this insight. We're going to be coming out with more videos, and hopefully they'll be better too, because I do like playing around with this stuff. You help make the video embodiment of my high tide dream, okay? That's what happens. These videos, they become part of that dream where that tide comes and lifts all the boats. Love to go swimming. Let's all go swimming together, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the sun entering Aquarius. Da-da-da-da! Love that Art Deco-inspired stuff, right? These are both AI images. Apollo on the chariot of the sun, and we've got, supposedly I asked for a water bearer, but kind of get a mermaid instead. So that's kind of cool. Don't really matter. I like it. It's a pretty good image. All right, so on the 19th, on the 19th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun is going to enter Aquarius. Now, the sun enters Aquarius just about opposing Mars. Okay, so, do we want to act? Do we want to say stuff? Do we want to do things? Hold your tongue, okay? That's coming up. Because Mercury is actually moving in that position with Mars, and that's what's advised there. And I would advise it right now too. Just save it, okay? Nobody's going to really listen. Nobody's going to care. Now, this is brought on because we're going to immediately have the sun conjunct with Pluto. Okay, so change. Yeah, here's the change you want. Does it work that way? Let's find out, okay? And we have our moon approaching Scorpio, and this is a deep, dark place too, okay? So we have the moon going to be passing over some desires here with dark moon Lilith. And let me tell you, those desires that are out there, they are pretty pervasive. We've got a lot of money behind what's going on, all right? And this is going to, eventually this will be dissolved and deconstructed, but we will see how it plays out, okay? Now, let's just talk about this now. This is the most, okay, the sun enters Aquarius. Let's talk about Aquarius briefly, okay? It's one of the most attached to the signs, okay? Abstract thinking, that abounds in Aquarius. What are the mechanics of popularity, and how can we manipulate those factors? One question, right? That's an abstract question. This is not going to be a normal time, and it never is. When the sun enters Aquarius, no, it's not. It's the dead of winter, right? Things happen, weird things. Now, concern for society and the welfare of the planet, that's high on an Aquarian list of priorities. Stuck on being eccentric, innovative, and inventive, and nonconformist, yeah, those are also up there too. This is going to all rub on. This is going to rub off on everybody when the sun enters this sign, just a little bit. So be prepared. Things are going to get weirder, right? Nobody gives a shit unless it begins to affect everybody else, right? That's what's going to happen. So nobody's really going to care about what you think, because they're all thinking the same unique thoughts. Unless it begins to affect everyone, then they're going to care, all right? So let's talk about the next thing coming up, Sun conjunct Pluto. Well, let's do this, shall we? So our Sun conjunct Pluto's over here, and they're going to do it at 1 degree 42 minutes of the sign of Aquarius. That's going to happen on Tuesday at 7:20. That's 7:29. Okay, so look, we're going to be talking about this first thing in the morning, right? So the sun actually had entered Aquarius on Sunday, but now, I think I might have said Tuesday. That's really weird, because it did it on Sunday. And that's what you get for not looking at your charts and the dates, right? So this one right here is going to happen on Tuesday. So Tuesday, we happen to have the sun right here with Pluto. And as you can see, the moon at 11:20 later on. So that's 7:29 in the morning. At 11:20, that moon is going to go bop right into Scorpio. All right. Now, let's talk about this. The sun meets up with Pluto. How many oaths do you think have been broken? Did Mammon, that demon god of greed, follow Pluto into Aquarius? Changes happen that are going to be good for individuals, but not for society as a whole, okay? Pluto can focus those actions on the few, because that is how power should work in Pluto's mind, right? Pluto's like, yeah, more for me, right? We're going to just grab it and go, right? This is self-serve, all-you-can-eat buffet. The problem is that the moon in the Scorpio persona, I like to call Scorpio, right? So all of my signs had realms, and realms had rulers, and the ruler of Scorpio was Scorpia. It was kind of like an embodiment of Persephone, loosely, okay? Loosely, combined with several video game characters, okay? Now, Scorpia is going to disagree with Pluto, all right? The moon and Scorpia are going to disagree with Pluto. This is not the way that power should work. It should not serve the few. And look, they're going to disagree because Pluto doesn't control entirely what's going on when the moon's in Scorpio. Mars is also the co-ruler, and Mars is going to actually be trine with the moon later. So this is going to be an agreeable energy between the moon and Mars in Scorpio, and the moon's in Scorpio and Mars is in Cancer, right? The magnetism of Mars, especially as Venus is getting nearer, oh yeah, Mars is becoming quite desirable. This is good, because Mars is actually restrained in Cancer and preparing for the next moves, right? So this makes Mars very sexy, the quiet, strong, sexy type, right? Mars is gathering strength for intuitive creators who will help overcome this display this week of egotism, and I'll eventually return that power to the people. Okay, so now we have Mercury opposing Mars. We kind of hinted towards this, right? We did. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's talk about this. I still like that image a lot. I wanted to show it again. All right, so let's go. We have Mercury opposing Mars. Now, there's a couple things going on in this chart, and it's very busy. And I wanted to show you because we have, not only do we have Mercury opposing Mars, but we also have Mercury that's going to be trine Uranus, okay? And we have Mars as sextile Uranus. Now, this is very interesting. This makes a triangle, right? It's kind of an isosceles triangle, inverted. And it also brings to mind what's happening, what's going on up here with this cradle formation, because we've got a sextile between Venus and Mercury, Venus and Uranus and Mars. So that's that cradle position. That's kind of like protecting us from above. But below, we have that desire and the moon. We have these two things that drive hunger, right? The moon in Scorpio, that wanting power, wanting to get to the bottom of secrets and stuff like that. And the dark moon Lilith position down here, desire, that wanting to be apart, not wanting to be tied down, wanting to be independent, right? We don't care what's going on. We don't care what's being said around us. We don't care about who's lusting for this power. We know that this power belongs up here, and up here is with all the other planets. So if all these other planets are in play, those are planetary people, right? That's where that power needs to be coming from. That power is not just concentrated in the sun and Pluto. Mars is over here. Mars is going to have something to say about that. Uranus is over here. That has something to say about it. Jupiter, barely even speaking right now, right? Outside of the loop, in that little Gemini area. Now, there will be a Jupiter, it's inconjunct right now for the most part. So we're really not able to see what it is that we need to do to grow, because this isn't the time for growth. It's winter, right? This is where we're supposed to be protecting and nurturing what it is that we're doing with Mars in Cancer. That's what we're doing. We have Mercury being very prudent in Scorpio. Scorpio, listen to me. Capricorn, I'm looking right at it. Making sure that communication is following along certain lines. We're doing it well, okay? That's what we're doing. That's how we're doing this. Now, bite your tongue. Protect your project and say very little. Not everyone wants or needs to hear what you say, even if the implications are as clear as day. As a professional astrologer, I often need to do this. It's part of the professional code of ethics. You can't look at somebody's chart and go, oh, look. No, you can't do that. If you say something, you'll go forward. If you say anything, not as an astrologer, but as a person, you're going to forgo the protective shell that's formed over you, okay? Maintain your forward momentum. Look, if we swing a bucket of water over our heads, the inertia keeps the water in the bucket, right? It goes around, and it goes around, and it goes around. We go, woo, woo, woo. Stays up. We don't get wet. The minute we stop, above us, we get wet, just like the thumbnail with Aquarius dumping water on my head, right? Or is it lightning? Who knows? I touched my keyboard earlier today and it made all my screens go off. It happens at work too. I walk by one desk and all the monitors go off. It's like so strange. It's just me. Don't know. Just the way it works, right? Anybody else can walk by her and nothing happens. I walk by and it's like everything goes off. Oh man, it all started one day when I touched it. Anyway, it's static electricity for the most part. However, look, if you stop that bucket, you're going to get wet. Look, in this chart here, we are the water. Okay, we're overhead. We're going around, right? That cradle position will advance as the world turns. So don't risk being dumped out. Keep your momentum. Venus trine Mars. Oh, isn't that nice? That came up on an image thing. It's a very nice image, isn't it? Now, Venus is going to be trine Mars. And if this were an electional chart, I've got more on this here. But look at that. We've got Venus in a 7th house of relationships, and we have Mars in the 11th house of our public perceptions and personas and stuff like that. Look at what a beautiful relationship we are building right here with DailyAstrocat.com with you and me, right? This is a very nice relationship, and I really appreciate it. This lends a powerful boost to our creative and romantic endeavors. We strengthen the home through our relationships because that's where Mars is. Mars is in Cancer, right? Venus bestows feminine energy and the powers of attraction to even our smallest of actions. I know I've been saying hold off, but that really just refers to new initiatives, right? I still got to produce daily. You got to go to work. You got to go to do your things, right? I still have to produce Astrocat. I do it for you guys, right? You need to produce your works. You still have to. Look, by the time that this happens, this is on Saturday. This is towards the end of the week. We've got all this good stuff happening on Thursday. We kind of climb out of the depths, and then we get into Saturday, and that's where this just blossoms, right? We're through the BS of the week. Once the hype dies down, we're left to contemplate the intimate relationships we have with our creativity and with our significant others. Now, here's where I talk about it being an electional chart. I kind of tip my hand on it a little bit, right? Electional charts serve a specific purpose, and if we're looking for our best days, right? Now, in our old videos, we used to have best days, right? We'd have, what's the best day for love? What's the best day for creativity? Saturday. This is the best day for both love and creativity. The only other one we had was health, and I didn't look back that far. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much. I appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Make Daily Astrocat part of your routine. The podcast is available on YouTube or at dailyastrocat.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Happy Astrocatting.